I want to get to this next topic because in your book you spoke on like slave owners who didn't, value the slaves and use them as basically like as experimental for medical situations.
Yeah.
I want to even speak on to like even to today. Like I hear that most black women still get C-sections not because of the need of it, but because they choose to, make more money by giving black women the C-section or doing just different surgeries on them to make more money as medical experiments. So what do you say about from back then to now? How has that affected black families?
Well, the experimentation on black, people, it goes deep. From slavery to, I talk about the Ivy League schools in the book. Harvard, UPenn, Dartmouth, all of these colleges experimented on black people. They had slaves in there experimenting on them before and after death.
Tuskegee,
all of that type of stuff. And this has had a tremendous effect on the black community because, Henrietta Lacks, them just taking advantage of us. They took her cells and they never even paid her family the proper money. From taking her cells and using it to come up with all of these, forms of medicine to cure people. Her family's owed billions of trillions of dollars. But like you said, with the C-sections, with black women and stuff like that, leaving it to fatal pregnancies and things of that nature, it's just another way that they attack us. Because I talk about that in a chapter in the book too, how they would question black women in the 70s and 80s when they came into the hospital pregnant, and they would ask them questions that they wouldn't ask, white people, Asian people and stuff like that, try to get them to admit that they're doing drugs and stuff like that so that they could take their children from them or their babies from them, the day after they're born. So all of this has just been attacked to, push our kids into the system or, kill our babies or have our women suffering more postpartum and things of that nature.
They believe our pain tolerance is higher than theirs. I've heard that like plenty of times, but
they're part of the white supremacy push was that black people weren't human. We couldn't even feel pain, so they would cut women open, perform C-sections without any medication and things of that nature. It's wild.
I think once you start to really dissect this and go into this rabbit hole, because it's not just
it'll make you angry though.
It's
bro.
not just conspiracy theories, or y'all just whether you go from destroying the nuclear family to then putting abortion clinics in our communities, and then you see how much I talked about how between 1974 and 2020, I think like 20 million black babies have died. Like that type of stuff is crazy. Like they hear, you know what I mean, and it just goes back to like the procedures, the abortions, the constant fighting of one another, you know what I mean, the branching out and dating interracially, all of it, the LGBT agenda, all of it seems to be targeted towards our community for some reason, you know what I mean. So
man, I heard that and I've been hearing a whole bunch of crazy, because I do be jumping into these rabbit holes that you be saying.
Got some for TikTok,
I do, because they said that they was feeding back in the days they was feeding the alligators black little black babies and stuff like that used to just make me so angry. You build, I don't want to say hatred because you're not supposed to hate nobody, but
what? Why not?
I'm hearing. What do you mean?
Why are you not supposed to hate?
Why not?
Oh, I hate.
That's because
the Bible says it's a time for hate and it's a time for love.
I think traditionally hatred has always led to some type of oppression or killing, mass murdering, or you know what I mean.
But they doing that to us, though.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
No, you can control your hate.
What do you mean?
So if I know someone. I hate child molesters and rapists. Does it mean I'm gonna go kill every child molester and rapist? No, there's a way.
But if you've seen one and you knew he was a child molester, you might be more inclined to harm that person.
To harm them?
Yeah.
It would depend on who they did it to and how they what facts do I know surrounding the matter?
So you need to know.
See, because some people get that label, and they didn't do nothing. They was having sex in the park or something.
I'll put it to you this way: as someone, I had one of my former students who was accused of a rape that he didn't do.
That's what,
he was locked up for 2 weeks. The person who put forward the false accusation came back and said, I lied. So
it happens a lot.
It depends on, especially.
But in this situation, we talking about people that actually did the crime. Like, you know what I mean? You will be more inclined to want to do harm to them, right?
I would be more inclined to want to do harm to them
because you hate.
My emotional intelligence will control me.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, you know
because of what I would want to do is kill them. But then I'm going to do life in prison.
Of hatred.
Huh?
That's coming from a place of hatred.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do it though. I'm intelligent. I'm talking about displaying emotional intelligence. I'm not doing life in prison because I want to harm this person or do something bad. What it's our job to do is push people like that out of our community, to get these people locked up. That's why I never understood where it's like, oh, don't nobody deserve to be in jail. Yeah, there are.
No,
some people do
for sure.
You know, the rapists, the child molesters, they certainly do. There's certain people that's destroying communities that they deserve to be locked up.
But I also think that's hypocritical for people to say, because some people got uncles, cousins, aunties, nieces, nephews that they know that they experienced those situations with and never said, oh, I'm going to call the police on them.
And I talk about that in the book. See, this has to be addressed. All of these topics tie into each other. I can connect any topic in that book. This connects because I talk about it. Sometimes, for one, in the Black community, it's happened from, you know, an adult, a relative or something like that. But there's also other kids you have to watch who you put your child around, because other kids could be responsible for it. Yeah. You have to watch that. If I have... if my child want to go to a sleepover, and she's like, "Oh, Dad, can I go to a sleepover?" I don't have kids. This is hypothetical.
Yeah.
And my daughter is 7 years old, and she's like, "Oh, it's gonna be all 7-year-olds." Your daughter could be around a 7-year-old who's fast, who's been experienced to certain things. She's been touched, and then if she's alone in a room with your daughter, she could do something. Or if you go over another house and they got she's a 7-year-old daughter, but they might have a 10-year-old, 11-year-old son. Things it could be another child that does things sometimes. So people got to watch that too.
Even as I'm a father of 4, right? And
that's it.
Things that I know
that I know of. But anywho, I have the same issue because my daughter always wants to go to somebody's house, and I say, well, you can have your friends over here, but I'm expecting the parent to have pushback, like, hey, I want to meet you. They'll send their kid over. I have 3 sons, so you sending your daughter over with 4 men you don't know, me, including me. You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, I got to meet her mother. I got to meet her father, you know, and I'm stopping. I'm like, hey, you know, you got to meet me because you got to understand that it's men in this house. So I want to let you know that you're bringing your daughter with a room full of men you don't know. You get what I'm saying? So I think this is a whole nother conversation, man. It frustrates me, and it's not even my kid.
And the Vanderbilt Institution did a research study, and it found out that 83% of people in the LGBTQIA community had an adverse childhood experience, and 52% of them had one more than 3 times.
That's crazy.
So just think about how that impacts your child.
Are you of the mind that, you know, people that subscribe to that the LGBT plus QIA, all this, you know, letters, I'm trying to get all the letters in there. Do you subscribe to the fact that they have some type of mental illness?
Yeah, that's a mental illness. Depending on which part of the alphabet are we looking at. To none of it is normal to me, but it's still in the DSM-5, transgenderism, gender dysphoria. If you go to, and that's another thing, if you go to page 455 of the DSM-5, the Diagnostic Statistics Manual for Medicine, page 455 says that 63 to 100% of the time, transgender women who are, you know, males, are attracted to males. 63 to 100% of the time. That ain't nothing but a gay man in a dress. And that's one of the reasons. So that's why I always argue that trans women or trans men, trans people are the most homophobic people, because it's just a way to escape being called homosexual. If you could say, oh, I'm a woman, I like men, then now we can't call you homosexual, technically. But to those who know, like, all right, you're a man, you're a male, you're gay, you're a homosexual. And they try to separate the terms. It doesn't make sense. They try to say, oh, gender is different from, man and woman is different from male and female. But the definition of a woman is an adult human female. So the only difference.
I love when they ask them what is a woman, and they say a woman is somebody who identifies as a woman. It's like, how are you using the word in the
circular definition? Makes no sense. Mm-hmm. So then it means nothing then. If a man is anyone who identifies as a man, a woman is anyone who identifies as a woman. So there is no patriarchy. Donald Trump, how do we know when Donald Trump is a man or when he's a woman? How do we know the founders of this country? How do we know that they were men?
No, gender only pops up when they want to talk about toxic masculinity. Then they understand gender.
Another term that doesn't exist. But that's the best argument that I have for feminists who support this whole notion around gender identity and things like that. There is no such thing as the patriarchy if you believe in the gender identity nonsense that's going on. If a woman is anyone who identifies as a woman and a man is anyone who identifies as a man, there's no patriarchy. Men aren't controlling you. So I have a say in abortion rights. You can't say, oh, well, you want men to be quiet, because how do you know who the man is? While we talking about abortion, I identify as a woman. Like, it makes no sense.
I love the hypocrisy.
It makes no sense
when it comes to, especially women in the feminist movement, or just women in general. They like to use we don't need a man, right? But then we obviously see when the time comes to voting, or it's time to get certain laws passed, then now you need a man, like, you know what I mean? But your whole mantra has been, I don't need a man, until it's convenient or is beneficial to you, like, you know what I mean?
Michelle Obama and Barack Obama out here trying to press black men.